Hey, welcome back to another episode of Wigs for Kids YouTube channel. We've got Emily here with some Emily tips on brushes. You know, the right brush and the wrong brush, and the brush that's right for the thing that you want to do. Emily, look at these brushes we have. I mean, we have a tremendous amount of brushes to talk about, and they are not all equal. As we talked about headbands in one of our previous episodes. Tell us about what you've learned about the Wigs for Kids package that comes to you with a brush that you'd be able to utilize. Tell us about that.
I didn't know that different brushes there could be better brushes than other brushes. So it was great that Wigs for Kids provided that brush for me so that I could right away have that proper brush that would make sure that the hair kind of stays intact the way you want. So when I had first gotten my first wig back in 2015, I had been using the wet brush. This still is one of my favorite ones to be using. I use it on my regular hair as well. And then towards the end, I think these brushes came in. They started providing these in the packages. So then
the Brent brushes.
The Brent brushes, yes. So these ones are also very good.
The wet brush is really an important element. It looks simple. I mean, it really does. But because of these beads, and I'm going to try to get a close up if you can. See those beads on the end of those teeth? Now there are brushes that have plastic spokes with flat edges that when you brush it, it'll scratch you. You can actually run it across your arm. It'll scratch you. Well, it'll also peel the knot out of the hairpiece and cause hair loss. Same like these steel, this is like a dog brush almost. They almost look alike, but this also has a cushion behind it. There's a cushion and is able to go through, and when it gets a little resistance, it'll release it before it breaks it. This is also designed for going through your hair even when it's wet, but you always brush from the ends into the top area. But most people don't realize they're breaking ends. You just talked about how, you know, the blonde hair and the brunette shows a different look because of the broken ends. The reality is that these ends will be broken more often by the friction of a brush that's not correctly brushing their hair at that point. It really has an important element to it because it can damage the wig, the wrong brush. Number two, it can give you the ability for a beautiful head of hair. Here's something else too. If you're using this type of brush and you got your waves in, you know, your beachy waves, you can brush through them gently and not whip through them and lose that wave that is now has to go
your hair
get
with.
through. Yeah. Now, do you brush your hair every day? How did you brush your hair? Like, did you brush it before you put it on? Did you brush it when you took it off?
You know, I would keep a brush with me just because I felt like it was important that I wouldn't have tangles in it, just to, you know, keep it, the maintenance of it always in good shape because, you know, you want it to last as long as you can. So I would definitely brush it before bed, especially since I don't wake up super early. Like I run late. So
that's gonna become your I wake up late in a t-shirt.
So I would brush it before bed on a mannequin head. And just, it was like a nice calming activity. Like, oh, this is fun for me to brush my hair. So yeah, I would have a little routine where I'd brush it so that in the morning it was, you know, ready to go.
One of the tips that is really important is the under neckline. That has a lot of friction with, no matter what collar you're wearing, it's taking friction. And because ours is virgin hair, it has cuticle in it. In a normal head of hair, you could coat through it and maybe get those tangles out, but most of the girls that have had hair, no, that's where I get my tangles at there. And so you need to brush that out. So there's a lot of times that we think of everything and we're looking in the mirror, everything is, you know, nice and, you know, beautiful. But what about the unseen area?
Yeah, you definitely need to kind of get in there and move the hair so that you are really getting into all of the areas of the wig to make sure you're brushing through it.
You told me that when you first started, you didn't want to brush it because...
Yeah, I was scared to. I was scared to brush it, especially towards the root. And it started getting a lot of tangles up here because I was only brushing, you know, down at the ends. And it kind of looked okay, but then if you took a closer look, you know, it was getting knotted up here. So, especially right after you wash it, it's important to make sure that you are going through the root. You don't have to be scared. You don't have to be scared of brushing up close to there because it's not, especially if you're using the right brush, nothing bad is going to happen to the hair. It's better for it to be, you know, brushed out nicely.
Yeah, because that little hair is hand tied one hair at a time. And so when this goes over the knot, it doesn't pick at it. But if you're working with something that's a plastic brush or, you know, something that's blunt ended, it's going to just, I mean, it's like untying a shoe and it's just
And it only takes like one time to use a bad brush for things to get messed up.
A $4,000 or $5,000 hairpiece, and now with pricing, it is even higher. And, you know, if somebody went to go buy this hairpiece and not realizing virgin hair, all hand tied, is prepared,
Yes.
how it can be destroyed, whether it's the headband that we talked about in one of our episodes, whether it's the wrong brush, whether it's not handling it right, too much heat without heat protection, all those things is really the same thing with good growing hair.
Yes.
And you know, you can hear hairdresser friends of mine always tell me, people spend all kinds of money for good haircuts, but they don't take care of their hair.
Yeah.
And that makes a difference. That makes a difference.
You know, I'm no saint. Like, I definitely had some
Aren't?
I had some crazy knots in my wig before, and I used to get really embarrassed by it. But there's nothing to be embarrassed. If I got a knot, I would come straight to here and say, you know, this was the situation, and I don't have the stuff. I don't know. I'm not a stylist, so I can't get the knots out myself. It's, you know, safer just to take it here, to have, you know, people who are trained in that to do it themselves instead of me trying to rip through it if there was some crazy knot in there. And those were actually kind of some of my, you know, it would be a bad day and then it would turn into a really good day, because when the wig came back, you know, they would do it super nice, it'd be super straight and silky, and it just felt great. So yeah, don't be embarrassed if you do get a knot and you need to take it, you know, somewhere to fix it.
And don't pull on it to you.
Yeah, don't pull on it.
Well, I hope this gives you some brushing techniques or brushing ideas, and use your wet brush. That's the most important part, or your Brent brush. We'll have a link for the Brent brushes down below. He's not only an incredible, you know, celebrity hairdresser that created this, he's a friend of Wigs for Kids, a partner of Wigs for Kids, and he really invented this brush for kids that were through autism and that type of thing, that didn't like anybody to touch their hair and would scream. These brushes were able to help those children comb their hair, get their hair combed, their mom comb their hair, and it's been just a wonderful tool for Wigs for Kids as well.
Yeah.
If this has helped you, please let us know by sending us some comments. Of course, give us a thumbs up or a heart. I like the hearts if you want to send us hearts. And also subscribe and hit the bell so that you're in link with every week that we've got a new how-to, a new Emily tip, and something that will help you look beautiful inside and out, and continue to take care of that wig for a long period of time so it looks good all the way through the year until you need to apply for a new one. We hope you've enjoyed watching this video and learning something from it. Help us grow our YouTube channel by liking this video and subscribing to our YouTube channel. Don't forget to click on the notification bell to get notified every time we publish a new episode.